Samsung dropped two mid-range phones at basically the same time, and now everyone's standing in front of the checkout screen trying to figure out if they should save $100 or just go ahead and spend it. And honestly, I get it, because these two phones look almost identical on the outside, and Samsung isn't exactly making this decision easy for you. So let's just break it all the way down and figure out who each of these phones is actually made for. Price is where this whole thing starts, and you need to have those numbers in your head from the jump. The Galaxy A37 starts at $449 for the base, 6GB RAM and 128GB storage version, and goes up to $540 for 8GB and 256GB. And then the A57 starts at $550 for 8GB and 128GB, and jumps to $610 for the 256GB version. And look, I want you to notice something here, because this is where Samsung is being a little sneaky. If you want 256GB of storage on the A37, you're already at $540. And the base A57 is $10 more. And once you're in that territory, most people just slide right over to the A57. And Samsung absolutely knows that. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Design is the first real difference between these two, and it matters more than people think. The A57 has a full aluminum frame and Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on both the front and the back, and it comes in at just 6.9 millimeters. Thin and 179 grams. And that thing feels genuinely premium in your hand. And then you pick up the A37 and its plastic frame with the same glass on the back. And it's thicker at 7.4 millimeters and heavier at 196 grams. And okay, yes, both phones have IP68 water resistance this year, which is a real upgrade from last year's IP67. But if you care at all about how a phone feels when you hold it, the A57 is just a different experience, and the A37 feels like what it is, a budget phone trying its best. And that's totally fine, but just know what you're getting. Display is almost a tie, but not quite. Both phones have a 6 and 7-inch Super AMOLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate and 1,900 nits of peak brightness and vision booster for outdoor visibility, and honestly, for 90% of what most people do on a phone, you're not gonna feel a meaningful difference here. But the A57 has HDR10+ support for streaming video, and the A37 does not. And if you watch a lot of Netflix or YouTube on your phone, that actually does show up in the colors and contrast of what you're watching. So it's not nothing, but it's also not a deal breaker by itself. Chip is where the A57 pulls away the hardest. And this is the number that's going to make a lot of people change their mind. The A57 runs on the brand new Exynos 1680, and the A37 is running the Exynos 1480, which is a chip from 2024 that also powered last year's Galaxy A55. And when you look at the benchmarks, the gap is real. We're talking about the A57 scoring over 1 million points in Antutu versus around 700K for the A37. And in gaming specifically, the Exynos 1680 is testing about 90% faster on the GPU side. So if you play games on your phone at all, the A57 is the obvious choice. And if you don't play games and you just scroll social media and stream video, the A37 will be fine, but just know what you're leaving on the table. And drop a comment and tell me what you actually use your phone for, because I'm curious how many people watching this are actually gamers. Camera is where these two are more alike than different, but there's still a gap worth talking about. Both phones have a 50MP main camera with OIS, and a 5MP macro, and a 12MP front camera, and nightography, and all the same AI editing tools like Object Eraser and Edit Suggestions and Auto Trim, but the ultra-wide is where they split. The A57 gets a 12MP ultra-wide, and the A37 gets an 8MP ultra-wide, and both shoot at 123 degrees of field of view. But the A57's larger sensor captures more detail and has better dynamic range, especially in tricky lighting. And if you're the kind of person who takes a lot of group shots or travel photos or wide landscape stuff, you're gonna feel that difference. And if you mainly just point your phone at your food or your face, then both phones are essentially the same. AI and software is actually a shared win, and this is one of Samsung's big moves. This generation, both the A37 and A57 run One UI 8.5 on Android 16 out of the box, and both get the same awesome intelligence. Features including circle to search with multi-object recognition and Bixby and Gemini integration, and both get 6 years of OS upgrades and 6 years of security updates, which takes you all the way to Android 22. And that's a genuinely impressive commitment at any price point. So no matter which one you pick, you're getting a phone that Samsung is going to be supporting well into the 2030s. And that alone changes the math on what you're actually spending. Battery and charging is a dead heat. And I mean that literally. Both phones have a 5000 mAh battery and both charge at 45W. And Samsung says you hit 60% in around 30 minutes. And a full charge takes about 70 minutes on either phone, and neither one has wireless charging, which is still a little frustrating at these prices, but it is what it is. And the A57's more powerful chip might eat slightly more battery under heavy load. But in day-to-day real-world use, the difference is going to be too small for most people to notice. So this round goes to nobody. So here's the honest answer. If you play mobile games, or you want the best ultra-wide camera, or you just want a phone that feels genuinely premium in your hand, and you can stretch to $550, then the A57 is worth every dollar of that extra 100, and you're gonna feel the chip difference the moment you push the phone hard. But if you mostly just text and scroll and take casual photos, and you wanna keep it under $450, then the A37 is not a compromised phone. It's just a slightly less powerful version of basically the same experience. And that's actually a really good thing to be able to say about a phone at this price. Let me know in the comments which one you're leaning toward, because I genuinely want to know how people are thinking about this. And if you want more breakdowns like this one, hit subscribe, because we do this all the time on this channel.